Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. All episodes are now streaming on Disney+. When I first heard of this series last year, I was pretty excited, especially after watching the X-Men 97 series. I've really been enjoying what Disney and the Marvel team have been doing with the animated series. And now we have a brand new one following Peter Parker as he's going through freshman year of high school. Now, if you followed along the series, then you should know that this has gone through a number of name changes. I believe the original name was Spider-Man Freshman Year, and it was also noted that this was supposed to be some kind of connection to the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man in maybe a loose way, and you do see bits and pieces of that as you get into the series. So let's go through it. I'm going to go through it at more of a high level, and if you want more information, you can subscribe to my podcast, Agents of M.A.C.E, linked below. So as I said, this goes into Peter Parker as he is starting his freshman year of high school. Pretty excited that he's going into this whole new school to meet new people. And right away, we see some pretty crazy stuff happening. Specifically, episode 1, we get right into Doctor Strange making an appearance with some kind of symbiote creature. Now, I wouldn't say this is Venom, but it's hard to know what this is. We've done research and we couldn't really find it specifically if this was Venom or just some random symbiote. Maybe it's a custom one made for this series. I couldn't find anything specific on this particular creature. But during this event, we see that this is where the spider falls from the portal created by Doctor Strange and eventually bites Peter, which gives him his powers. So it's quite fascinating that all this is taking place post Uncle Ben passing away. And that becomes a point that I'll talk about here in just a little bit. But in terms of resemblance to the current Spider-Man that we're following, we do have Peter and Aunt May, where Aunt May is a younger version. Their apartment, everything is modeled after what we've seen in the current Spider-Man trilogy, with some minor differences. One in particular is that instead of going into a Stark internship, Peter meets Norman Osborn and goes into an Oscorp internship. Norman Osborn is voiced by Coleman Domingo, the one actor from this whole cast that I'm most familiar with, and I will say, like, a fantastic choice. I would love to see a live action version of Coleman Domingo playing this character. But it's been such a fascinating watch because so much of this first season is around Peter and his relationship with the Osborns, because he does meet Harry, and that's a big part as well, because that's why Norman is essentially looking for Spider-Man. He knows that Spider-Man saved his son Harry, and he's fascinated with his abilities and really wants to understand like how that happened. And that's how it's connected. And this goes in a very unique way because there's a lot of people that discover who Spider-Man is, that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And it's quite a change up from what we're used to. The core thing is there where Aunt May doesn't know, and he wants to keep that from Aunt May and protect her. And that's the one difference that we haven't linked to like the live action movies, where in the live action ones, Aunt May does know that Peter is Spider-Man. And maybe we'll get there. It's hard to tell where they're really going. This movie also follows a lot of Peter's new friends. So he had to shift to a different school because the one he was going to was destroyed by that symbiote creature. But here he's becoming friends with Lonnie, Harry Osborn, and Nico. Nico also being a mutant that's connected with the Runaways. And a lot of these characters that he's meeting, especially through the internship, there are deeper comic connections of these people that have superpowers or become these metahumans in some way. And maybe we'll get to see those in the future. But we get a number of appearances in here. And the villains in here are quite cool, and I love what they did because this is really putting Peter at a more grounded level. We have Scorpion, which we haven't seen Scorpion in quite some time, especially in the live action movies. It's been teased, but we never got one. But here Scorpion is like really, really cool, who is tied in with Otto Octavius, and then we see there's like a relationship with Otto and Norman. And it's quite cool to see like how everyone's really connected in this story that they're building. Now, going into some of the downfalls, if you've, listening to all these characters that I'm bringing up, this is the problem with Disney and Marvel and their animated series. They throw a lot of information in these series. There are references upon references, whether it's nods to the movies, to the comics. We're getting this plethora of events happening, and it's hard to see like where they're going to go with this in season 2, especially because episode 10 throws so much at you, scene after scene after scene. And while it's exciting and I love to see it, it does make you worried as a viewer of like, how are they going to fit all of this in? I believe it's noted that this Spider-Man series is only going to be 4 seasons. So now we're kind of waiting to see like how will this connect? Is this just going to essentially spin off into other characters having their own series? We also get a small moment with the Watcher at the very end, so we know the Watcher is being tied into all of these Marvel properties in some way. Very curious to see if the Watcher will make his debut in like a live action movie. And then the other thing that really bothered me in the series is that because this is happening post Uncle Ben's death, we don't really get that moment that shows like why Peter is the way he is. Like we don't get that classic moment of with great power comes great responsibility. Norman does take that but shifts it into with great power comes great respect, and we do see that play in an episode of how it's building around Peter and his character as Spider-Man. But those are really my only 2 gripes with this. It's like having a little bit more depth and really kind of tightening to understand where the series is going to go through 4 seasons. Because from what we get in this first 10 episodes, it is very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. Definitely watch the intros because they're different. They do play on the classic comic covers, and we see unique ones per episode. Even get one episode, I believe it's episode 7, which is my favorite, and we actually get a more darker outro, which is different than all the other ones. So really, really cool what they're doing. I'm a big fan. I cannot wait to see more, and I hope Marvel and Disney continue doing this with their animated series, because we know that season 2 is in the works, and we should be getting that next year, along with the next season of X-Men 97. So if you saw your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you have a favorite character? Do you have any thoughts of where this could go in season 2? I'd love to know that. I go into a lot more detail in a podcast that I co-host called the Agents of M.A.C.E, Marvel's ace content enthusiast. Please be sure to find the links for that below and subscribe. If you do subscribe to that podcast, let me know in the comments as well, and we'll give you a shout out. Would love to see us grow this podcast to even more viewership, because we've been doing this for nearly 4 years now. We've got tons of content, and we're going to keep making more and more content because we're so excited with Daredevil Born Again coming up in just a week. Thanks so much for stopping by. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps out a lot, and I can't thank you enough for continuing to come back and watch my reviews. I'll be back very, very soon with more reviews. We'll see you soon.